Call to order the March 5th, 2018 meeting of the Arlington Redevelopment Board, recorded by ACMi. First on the agenda this evening, we have a continued public hearing, EDR special permit for docket number 3552 regarding Food for Thought LLC signage. So if the proponents are here, have you come up and introduce yourselves, please? Thanks for coming back.
Yep. Nice to see you all again. Andrew LaFuente. I'm the sign contractor from LaFuente Group LLC.
So walk us through what we're looking at tonight.
Sure.
And what you're asking us to decide.
Yep. So
Please.
the first time that I was here, you folks asked for more specific measurements in terms of the ground elevation and so forth. I highlighted that, I believe, on page 5. It shows all of the measurements, both the building, the sign, and the elevations to the sign in proximity to the building. And you folks also asked for more pictures showing the angle of the sign on the building. And I believe I provided 2 or 3 additional pictures of that.
Yeah, it's a good look. I like this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Is it perpendicular to the building, or is it, this looks just, maybe it's just the way the
Yeah, I mean,
Photoshop
it's,
worked?
yeah, exactly.
It's
So-
perpendicular.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
okay. Can you paint the white building white again? Or do you plan to, I should say?
Sir, with all due respect, I'm not the the owner of the business. I'm not in a
Okay.
position to
Got you, so you're
To
just
say that.
talking about signage?
just the sign.
Okay, that's all I am.
Good. Ken?
What's the height of the bottom of the sign for the sidewalk?
Sure. So on page 5, we have ground elevation to bottom is 9 feet. Ground elevation to top is 12. It's on the bottom right-hand side. Building measurements relative to sign. The last 2.
Oh.
Okay, so it's 12. Well, I think zonings for this thing says it's no less than 8 and no greater than 14. Is that correct? Was it?
That was correct, yeah.
Okay. So
14 or 15?
I don't recall exactly the number, but I think it was either 14. I thought it was 14.
I think I asked Ali that question. I believe it's 15.
15?
I believe it's 8 and 15.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 15 feet from the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's within that area. When I look at this elevation you got here,
Yeah.
I'm not sure is it a Photoshop thing, but it looks kind of proportionally large.
Yeah, sure. And it's not 100% to scale. That's a tough building to kind of work with, especially because it's not like I could remove the box and give like 100% clear indication of what the glass is going to look like. I mean, I pretty much try to put, where it's going to be, but it's not the best. I mean, I'm not an architect, so I couldn't provide, something fantastic. But the measurements are 100% correct, which falls, into the bylaws of what the town asks for.
It's pretty big, it's 4-foot diameter.
It is.
That's a maximum too. That's, can be that large.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it should be. That's what that
My
means.
question is, could we push the sign up a little higher?
Yeah. Tell me, what would you like it to be? 8'6"? Or I'm sorry, no, what did I say? 9? Like 9'6"?
Like you could line it up with
Yeah.
the top of that aluminum frame.
Huh?
Where, line it up at the top of that.
With the top of the
The
glass?
bracket.
Yeah, that's
Raise it
fine.
up about 6 inches.
Sure. Yeah.
It just, the way I see it here, when I walk down the street, it blocks
I understand.
like the view down the street.
I can understand the concern. Yeah.
And I think it'll make it look smaller. I mean, because you'll see more beyond.
Sure.
Why don't you go to 3'6"?
In terms of the diameter of the sign?
Yeah.
42, yeah, I mean,
I think you got a
6
point.
inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 feet is.
But,
Yeah.
but let me ask you a question. If we bring it down to 42 inches in terms of the placement where I have it now, can we keep it there? Would you still like to see the top of the bracket
I still like to go a little higher.
higher? Okay.
Okay, I don't know, maybe,
42
maybe
inches.
it's my son, but he's like 12 right now. Everything he
Sure.
sees up in the air, he likes to smack it with his hand.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So like door headers,
Yeah.
anything, he just comes along and just lets, and
Yeah.
I just see this being
Yeah.
a very tempting thing if, and,
That's a really good point.
it's still below the rim of a basketball.
Sure.
And he just barely touches it now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You're right,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna hang something on it.
Yeah, so
That's
if we,
fine.
if we can get it higher, and I think, yeah, I agree, if we make it a little smaller.
Okay,
higher,
so
little
9
smaller.
foot
Yeah.
6 ground elevation to the bottom, and then 42 inch diameter instead of 48.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be huge.
Yeah,
That
no,
door
that's
is
that's
3
well
feet.
within reason.
The door is 3 feet, 6 inches bigger than a door in
Mhm.
diameter, but it's a circle, so.
Sure.
So, the square footage of the sign matters. And the way I read this, that the sign, because the building's 17 feet wide, the sign can't be more than, 8.5 square feet, I think is how I read this.
If you go to the decision, or the memo rather,
Mhm.
it outlines what is allowed.
Yeah,
And
it
how
says,
the
it says
rules
the
apply
less,
it.
this sign shall be no larger than 12 square feet, or the number of feet equal to half the facade length of the establishment on which the sign hangs, whichever is
So
less.
this 8.5 feet would be half?
8.5 square feet.
No, the length of the facade is
Yes,
17 feet?
yes.
Yeah,
And that's just the front, not taking into account the right side as well, which we're not putting anything.
yeah, but this is the facade specifically, is what it's defined
So
as.
by that rule,
Well, the length of the facade, are you including both of the
No,
units?
17 feet is just that front facing facade, but like right now on that little
read that off,
corner.
David.
Well, I'm just reading from the memo, it's no more than the square footage of the sign shall be no larger than 12 square feet, or the number of feet equal to half the facade length of the establishment on which the sign hangs, whichever is less.
That's a weird thing, so it's half of a linear dimension is a square foot dimension.
That's how I'm
That's
reading
weird.
this.
Right, that is what it says, unfortunately.
So what's the area
So
of
the thing is,
sign?
the establishment is actually 2 units though, correct?
So
It's both of, it's not just that
3.14.
entry point, it's also the one next door,
R.
right? Isn't there?
No, so it's right on the corner.
Right, but then the neighboring unit is
Oh.
also,
You have this unit as well?
I actually think that they just took that over.
yes,
Yeah,
so that
correct.
the establishment would include that.
That would count.
But is that included in the 17 feet?
No,
No.
No,
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 I would-
he's
I would-
just talking
I
about
would go ahead and
the
double it.
corner.
and make it like 35 feet or something like that. That is what the linear frontage
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
now.
it's not quite that, because I think the next unit
It's
is
A little bit smaller.
narrower, but
Let's say 30 feet then, okay?
that's
Okay.
right.
So the limitation would be 12 square feet on the sign?
Right.
Okay.
You're 12 square feet. How big is, what is the area of the circle that it's,
42 inches.
and what's the area of that? Because we're going by area, right? 12 square
Yeah,
feet.
right.
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared.
Right. So
Geometry.
it's, say it's 4 feet. So
You-
that would
No,
be,
it's maybe 3'6" now.
Well,
So-
you know something, guys. I'm actually you're gonna have to excuse me. You asked for 42. That was on the or 48. That was on the original. The proposed actually has it at 40 inches.
great.
Yeah, 40. Because there was actually a concern and a valid point that you
Yeah.
brought up the last time, the 4 feet, that being the maximum. But then you said, does that include the space from the bracket to the sign? And it didn't. So the diameter of the sign is 40 inches.
Projection is 4 feet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Thickness is 5 inches.
40 inches, okay.
So it's
Which
3'4".
Correct.
Okay, so.
Exactly.
Which is 3.3 feet.
Yep.
So it's times pi, which is 3.14, times 3.3 is 310. That makes sense?
No.
Pi r squared. Radius squared, sorry, I didn't do that.
Radius.
Sorry.
Look at that number.
Yeah, no, I didn't square it.
Oh,
So it's what did we say, 3.3?
Yeah, 3.3.
Do you have a square on yours?
No, I don't have a calculator.
I don't have a square on mine, but I can just do it, 3.3 times 3.3. Times 3.14. 34 square feet.
That can't be right.
That's not right.
Yeah, yeah, for 40 inch
No,
diameters.
that 3.5 feet.
Oh, is the total?
Yeah.
So the half of 3.5 feet. Sorry.
1.6.
All right, now okay, sorry about that. So it's 1.6 squared.
Times 3.14. So it's about 8.7 square feet.
Yep, I got 8.0.
Okay. And it's got to be within
12.
at or under 12. Okay, all
Right.
right, great.
You meet the requirement.
Yeah, that's great.
40 inches is good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's better. Still gonna be big sign.
We'll make it very nice. So we actually, I told you they have a second location. We just completed fabrication of their first one. It's not up yet, but I have a picture of it if you folks would like to see it.
Sure.
Just to kind of get an idea.
I mean, I recognize that it's out of character with the rest of the signage on that block, but in my view, it's
So
it's
the-
perhaps more in character.
The
with
lines going
historical
around and in the
nature of
center,
building.
I think it's,
that's
I think
engraved.
it's more in character with the historical
Well, I
nature
think
of the
this is
building
gonna be the new
district.
character.
And I think it's an improvement on,
Sorry?
This will be the new character that we're gonna,
yeah.
Lobster on a roll.
So the icon and the words, those are raised. Those project out about half an inch, and then the lines are engraved.
are they lit,
No, sir.
not even
No.
internally?
No.
There'll be lights on it.
Use them. I'm not sure what they want to do for illumination. To be honest, they haven't asked me to take part in any of that.
It's not internal, though.
No, sir.
So for anything, as far as lighting, they'd have to come back
Correct.
to us, as they know that.
The other elements are the painting on the building. And
Well-
also I understand he can't address that, but he is not the applicant. The applicant is, he's here on behalf of the applicant, which is the owner of the business. So the other thing would be the restoration plan for the windows, which we noted in the memo, which I realize he also can't address.
Use them, but that I know. So they started taking it down on the inside, the drop ceiling, and there were cracks in both of the windows. And it just became too expensive to restore those. They wanted to, because architecturally, I mean, they were pretty beautiful windows. So they're going to have to restore both of them.
Again, this board would need to review
Yeah,
those
speak.
plans.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So I
So we're
think
just
that-
here for the sign?
Well, I think we're gonna have to we can address the sign, but we'd have to put conditions in the permit that require before they can install the sign, we need to see the balance of plans and information that we might be requesting.
Right, okay.
So I would recommend that.
So how do we phrase this?
So we can approve, well, I guess we could conditionally approve the sign, be okay to go ahead and make the sign.
Continue the process. Okay.
Before it's installed,
Mm-hmm.
the applicant would have to come back before us with a restoration plan,
Okay.
an answer from the historical commission? Or does that come after us?
That usually comes after. That
So-
would be their next stop.
So from here I go to historical?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we need a restoration plan for the windows, plan for the facade of the building, including the painting improvements and any other changes that are going to be made.
Okay.
Let's see,
I think that covers it.
is that covered?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Any exterior lighting that they intend to
Of the
put out
lighting.
there?
Do you know if there's any plans to relocate that walk sign?
Yeah, because that's in a tough spot.
No,
It's bizarre.
there are not
Yeah,
any
I think
plans
that
to
was a
relocate the
mistake.
walk sign.
Which
And any landscaping plans? if any.
Landscaping,
Work
okay.
on the building.
That's brand
So
new.
would you like for me to communicate that
That's a
to
brand
Dave
new
and Joe, or?
We will
Picture.
communicate.
Okay, all right, great.
with them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So, do we need to vote, or okay?
How
You
can we
should,
vote?
We can't vote to approve the special permit.
yeah, I think you have to continue the hearing.
Okay.
I think we can't really create a conditional if you wanted to do an approval with conditions, that would be a way to do it. Or
Can-
you
can-
could have,
Can I just ask a question? How did this other stuff get tied into the permit though? Because when I applied, it was for the permit separately?
no, the permit has always been for all of the
It goes for the
things.
entire-
It's for the
Store.
property.
The entire property.
Really?
Yeah, the entire storefront. So when you come to do the sign, everything else is opened up and discussed. as
Okay.
part of that. So I think what you've heard tonight is we're okay with the sign. we
Yeah,
like the
sure,
sign,
sure,
we're
sure.
ready to go. You can go ahead and make the sign
Mhm.
if your clients are ready to
Yeah.
do
of course.
that.
Just
but
can't hang it
Can't hang it
Okay.
until you have final approval on everything.
on
So
all those other matters.
the other
Okay.
things can go in.
Sure.
Before it's hung, they have to
Which
come
they,
back.
yeah, and they can come back at the next meeting,
Yeah, but
can they?
Oh, sure.
Up to you.
Continue the hearing.
do we know when they might come back?
Well, we can continue the hearing to March 19th, which is your next meeting.
Okay,
But we'll have to get into communications with the owners
that's fine.
to determine that.
All right, so,
And we have no control over what the historical commission might decide.
no, that's true. So you'll need to go from here to the historical commission
All
before
right.
you actually construct the sign.
So, okay, when I see them, is there some kind of documentation I can bring from you folks? Saying that, okay, we're in this position, they didn't approve the special permit because of additional restorations, but they approved, my portion?
I will prepare a memo and work with Ally
Okay.
on the communication between our department, the board, and the
Great.
applicant.
Yeah,
Okay.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
that'll work. Thank you. So,
Yeah, thank you.
before you leave, we need to continue the hearing to March 19th.
So I
Motion to continue.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
All right. Moving on to a discussion of the 821 Mass Ave vacant property. That continues EDR special permit 3552 on 821 Massachusetts Avenue, which is the building next to CVS. Jen,
All right, so I distributed, right as we started the meeting, a document which is the original EDR special permit that was approved for CVS, actually. But it's in relationship to this neighboring property, and it's just select, excerpts from the decision. If anybody wishes to see the full decision, I'm glad to provide it. But for the point of conversation, I figured I would provide the overview of how the board made the decision, which is the introductory paragraphs, which talks about sort of how they were handling the house and what was going back and forth between the applicant and the board at that time. And then, most specifically, the condition that exists in this permit is number 5, which is the third page, which says page 10. So number 5 is the one condition that outlines what the Atwood house should be and what should happen there. The reason we're talking about it is because, one, it's vacant and unoccupied, remains vacant and unoccupied, as far as we know, and is in poor condition, has received a number of complaints about its condition, and also raised a lot of questions from various people across the community, whether they're in the neighborhood or somewhere else, who are aware of the property and wish for a different situation at that location, and have made recommendations, which is great, that there's a lot of ideas about what could be done with the property, but also wonder about if this board has any role in doing anything about the property. And so I brought it to us for just a discussion tonight so that, one, everybody on the board could understand the background of the property, and two, feel free to ask me any questions about any work I've been trying to do related to addressing the issues with the property, and sort of 3, all else. So, it's an open discussion.
Who owns the property?
The property is owned by it's owned by Noise Realty LLP. They are the person who is behind that is a Mr. Noise. And it is actually a lease between Noise Realty and CVS. And that master lease, which is good for through 2034, essentially says that they could do whatever they want with the property except for anything that would be in conflict with what is offered by CVS, which includes any, retail around, well, it's pretty specific, health and beauty aid, greeting cards and gifts, candy store offering a 1-hour or other on-site photo processing, vitamins, pharmacy mail order facility, drugstore, pharmacy prescription, or a dollar store, and also anything that would entail prescriptions, which could be, so any medical offices basically, or healthcare practitioner, dentists is off the table because it would be in conflict with CVS.
What year again was that again?
It is good for 25 years, so through 2034.
So,
This is all that I can find of the lease.
so who,
So there's only 16 years left, then you said?
who
That's
was,
one way to look at
who
it.
was GB New England 2, the applicant in the original?
Oh, it may have just been an LLC that they created, perhaps at the time, is my guess.
Is it in real bad shape?
Yeah, that sounds like an LLC they created at the time. Is it in real bad shape? The Inspectional Services Department has been enforcing what he can with what needs to be addressed at the property, including broken windows. Although you can't board up windows along Mass Ave, so the property owners, I think, replaced 2 of the windows in recent months. But there's still other problems at the property.
This is a condition of the CVS special permit,
Yes,
that the Atwood House shall remain reasonable and diligent efforts shall be used to maintain its present condition, prevent any damage from elements or otherwise until it is redeveloped.
that's right.
It's a responsibility of CVS?
It would appear that way, yes. Or the lessor of the property, and that's what this lease is about. The Noise Realty owner
Because
actually
I do
leases the
kind of
property.
remember that, keep it in good enough shape that it can then have the potential of being reused.
Mhm.
And we thought it would be residential, but could be something else.
Right. So that is a condition.
It's a little school or something could be related to the church.
Mhm.
But since the condition hasn't been met, is there anything that you would recommend doing about that?
Well, my recommendation would be trying to continue speaking with the property owner about alternatives to what is currently happening with the property. My experience with that has been somewhat limited, and I wouldn't say that there's a marked interest in doing something different with the property, and I don't have a sense of what we can provide to maybe stimulate some sort of new development. I think that might be something the board could discuss.
I'm more talking about the condition there.
The condition is basically, you mean the condition of the property or the condition there?
The condition of this, the sentence in this condition, and reasonable design, diligent efforts shall be used to maintain its present condition and prevent any damage from the elements or otherwise until it is redeveloped. Have they been doing that?
I
You
think
said
they've been doing that, yeah.
Okay.
Then they're responsive when we raise issues around broken windows,
Yeah.
things of that nature. Beyond that,
Okay,
that's
so
what they're
it's-
doing with the property.
Because I got the impression that it's getting to the point where it's demolishable,
It may be. I don't know the condition on the inside of the
Right.
property.
which was different than potentially we thought, and that's why we put that condition in there.
Right.
It's
In
it's okay,
2009.
in fact, we had the housing corporation say, oh yeah, it could work. And I remember they did a layout and showed an addition that could add
Yep.
4 units or something, 2 down, 2 up. And we thought about the parking and all that, but
Yeah. Yeah, the plan
I'm
then.
asking, because if it's getting to the point where it's not only questionable,
Mhm.
but now it's even more questionable because of the state of the thing, then it becomes a whole different
It's a different story.
problem.
Right.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Or I would like to actually go and see it and take a quick look at it
Mhm.
and see what condition it's in
Mhm.
and assess, and then maybe come back to the board and make a recommendation saying, based on my review of what I saw there, for short money, a certain amount of funds, that maybe we can find a nonprofit that might be interested in doing low-cost housing or temporary housing, or bad sheltered housing, anything that kind of give it some life. That's the more to what's I don't think it has right now. It'd be nice to have a house that can support these kind of activities, and I'd like to see at least one end to see if it's doable on what condition the building's at, and then maybe us can discuss some more about finding a nonprofit that may be interested in helping us along.
I can speak with the property owner about that and visiting the property and more, scrutinizing it a little bit further, and also with inspectional services.
Yeah, that'd be great if Mike would join me. That'd be great.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Has-
that is a good idea.
Has the property owner indicated any inclination to do anything with this property?
No. No.
So they're just content to have it sit there unoccupied and not even consider doing anything else with the site?
No, they haven't come to us with any proposal to do anything, and they have
So-
not entertained anything that we've offered.
So would we need to, if they were to, say, want to redevelop the site, would they have to come back in order for us to modify this condition to allow them to do that?
Yes, yeah, they'd have to come back to amend the special permit. That's right, for anything.
But it doesn't violate this permit. They just
No.
have to get a permit to develop on Mass Ave.
No, it's actually, it's
Well,
it's
but it
tied
says it
into
Yeah,
shall
it's part of
remain-
this
Yeah,
permit.
the condition.
Yeah,
Shall remain what?
they can't, if they wanted to remove the structure, it
Oh.
sounds like they couldn't do that
I thought
under
you
the
meant-
condition of this permit. If
Right.
they just wanted to fix up the house as it is, and
Then they just need a special permit.
then,
They don't
Yeah.
need
Yeah,
it.
yeah, to remove it, yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
But
yeah,
if they
well,
want-
to
if they
do,
want
to
to
do
paint it-
anything other
Right.
than reactivate the existing structure.
As whatever use they want, except for the ones that are
Right.
disqualified, which are competing with
Exactly.
CBA. Yeah, I get it, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it could be used, I'm sure the Housing Corporation of Arlington would be interested in a discussion with them.
Could
Think
be a
they were-
classroom, could be a little school, could be, assuming that it works.
Mhm.
It's got plumbing and electricity and
Could be converted into office suites.
could be office suites, could be the
Mhm.
same thing that's all.
I think that's a much tougher switch, because once you turn it from a residential building to a commercial building,
Yeah,
now you're introducing fire alarms, now you're introducing,
Right.
yeah, but what are all those other, the same kind of structures?
It's currently a commercial property.
All up and down Mass Ave, or dentist's office, and,
yeah, but that building there, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a sprinkler system, it doesn't have a fire alarm system.
but I doubt the ones that were renovated did either. All up and down Mass Ave is that kind of house that's been turned into a commercial.
I can't tell
Yeah.
about what was there, I just know.
Yeah, I think we need to know more about what's
Yeah.
in there and what it looks like. I think we're just spitballing ideas right now about what it could be.
But, I would love to go with Mike and just take a look at that.
That's a
and-
good idea.
and report back to the board here,
Mhm.
as far as what my findings are, and then go forward as far as interest and what other things. As I would love to have the ability to make that
Right.
into some sort of,
Mhm.
something other than just sitting there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure it's 16 years, right?
Yes.
More left on the lease. I'm pretty sure CVS has another option for another,
Renewal, yes.
Mhm.
and would that go side by side with this too, if
Yeah,
that's?
they're all together still.
So if they opt for another 20-year lease, then it's now back to 36 years
Yeah.
on this property, and now it starts making sense to do something with it.
Mhm.
If it's like 16, 10 years, it doesn't make sense, to be honest with you.
Yep. Okay. I think we'll see if you can get in there with inspectional services and report back.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, good.
All right, good. Moving on to a discussion of the marijuana study group, which is being put together by the town manager. I think Jenny gave us a memo this evening that we saw back in September. I think at that time I had expressed interest in being the person to sit on that committee, but wasn't officially nominated. And we need to do that tonight, and I don't think there's anything beyond that.
There's
this
nothing
evening.
beyond
It
that,
hasn't
no.
actually
It
moved
has,
forward
it
yet.
will meet one time between now and annual town meeting, which is April 23rd. But nothing further at this time.
Do you still want to be in the
Yes.
committee?
Yeah,
I'd
I'd
be
like
willing
to
to
do
nominate you.
All right.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good, thank you.
Now do we have to vote you in? We nominated you. Oh, okay, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
We don't need to go further than that.
Okay,
I think that's it.
that's
it.
great.
We sped through this meeting, so.
That's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you.